Alright, so we're taking a look at some of the projects that we've made with this Ender 5 and talk about some of the experiences and some of the issues and troubleshooting along the way. Getting into the prints that we made with the 3D printer starting off, I'm pretty sure the first thing I did was this 762 by 39 cartridge. So after having printed the little puppy test print, I just found one of the sources online for files and grabbed this one. It was a free file, and put it into the cartridge or into the card, and I'm checking to see if this is in fact the first one on the card. Yes, the first one was this little 762 by 39. So I don't know if this is the first one. It might not be. I might have printed a couple of these now. But it came out dimensionally pretty close to the real cartridge and looked cool and gave me inspiration to keep printing. Now the tip of it is not perfect. It's a little wanky. And I don't know if that was because my printer bed had not been calibrated yet, or if it's just kind of tough for the printer. When you set it up, when you pull the file into your slicer program, the program that creates the G code, the machine file that goes to your printer and is the file that moves the hot glue gun all around, you tell that slicer what accuracy level you want. And I don't know what I set this thing at. I probably set this thing to, I think it has 4 positions for the slicer and for this printer, for me at least. Least or most accurate to least accurate, and I think I had it set here or here. I know I didn't have it set on the most and I didn't set on the least, so I think it might have been set on second to least accurate, and that gave me the quickest time that, you know, it still had a decent looking print. And I don't know if that was a factor in why the tip looks a little wonky. There's also some issues with heat that I've discovered. The bed that it starts off printing on is heated, so when it first starts to squirt the plastic out, that has to do with some of the adhesion issues, how well that plastic is going to adhere to the heated bed. Once it starts printing for a while and it gets up here, if this hasn't retained some heat, then you're pushing hot plastic onto a cooler set of plastic. So by turning up the bed heat and turning up the heat of your nozzle, you keep more heat in that part as it's being created, and I think you get better adhesion as well. So I don't know if that was an issue as it went up from the heated bed and the material wasn't hot, you know, as hot to begin with. It started to dissipate heat just to the atmosphere, to the air, and it may have cooled down as it starts to taper. So that might just be a situation mechanically that's always going to be an issue with this type of printer, but we'll find out. And that's the kind of thing, I'll get some feedback on this video, and that's why we're doing these. So this one ended up being a couple other things. I went straight to the van after this. We'll do that one next. Eventually though, I did do a larger one, a 50 BMG, and this one is in sort of a, what do you call this when they render it into kind of faces? I forget what they call that. But it's not 100% accurate. It's not a round design. And then eventually I also did a 545 to check out, you know, again, dimensionally accurate, and this one seemed to print a little bit better, and that's after I decided to start raising the heat on the bed up a couple of degrees and the heat on the nozzle a couple of degrees. So it does seem like this, which should be a tougher one to print, you would think, actually printed a little nicer than this one. It could also have been that I had a better resolution print on here. I just honestly don't remember. So with that, we'll move on to the next projects and take a look at more of the evolution of the learning the Ender 5 and printing in general. So this is some of my, I don't know if I mentioned before, this is my first time printing. So these projects are not just my first projects with the Ender 5, but in printing in general. All right, again, these are really to harvest questions and use those questions for future videos and to ask some of the experts when we have live conversations. So use the comments wherever you find this video, and we'll be watching for those. As always, thanks for watching.
Stay tuned for more of this series on our first attempts at printing with the Ender 5.